And hello to another episode of Fanboy Explosion. I'm Cameron Cook.
And I'm Seth Turner.
And this week, this is going to be our first episode of a new show we're doing called The Patch Notes. And this is just going to be our weekly recap show where we kind of talk about some of the news of the week, what we're playing this week, what's going on in our lives. It's just going to be a kind of a chill, laid-back atmosphere. We're just going to kind of talk about whatever comes to mind, and we're going to see how it goes. So, first up, how did your week go, Seth?
You know, this was the first week of Fanboy Explosion, and I'll be honest, it was probably one of the most fulfilling weeks that I've had in a very long time, because we've talked about this podcast for so long.
It's definitely been a bit of a... Yeah, it has been. I mean, it's been a podcast, it's been a running joke, it's been a fictional band that we've talked about for, like, you know, I don't know, more than 5 or 6 years, since high school.
Yeah, it was a high school thing, and it started as a band, and we're going to have to do an episode one day to just talk about the songs, because they're that good.
We have a running list.
But no, I mean, as far as the week goes, it's been super fulfilling. I haven't had much time to play games between work and working on the podcast. We did 4 pieces of content this week. That's crazy. You know, we took Monday off to kind of get our stuff together, and then, you know, Tuesday through Friday, we're going to have stuff going up. So that was really exciting.
It's definitely been busy.
However, I received some very bad news today that made me quite sad. I got an email this morning.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I've been saving this. I got an email this morning from the comic book store that I get my comics from. It's called Star Clipper. It's a really, really awesome comic book store in St. Louis, Missouri, which is where I'm from, or where I live. And I received an email from them today that said they are closing down as of early February.
That's awful. Yeah. They're not like moving, they're just closing completely?
Straight up closing down. So I don't know that they didn't explain the backstory. They just said they'll be closing their doors, and they encourage everyone to visit another local one that they're kind of transitioning over for, like, gift card redemption. Like, they're going to honor the gift cards and stuff that from the holidays. But yeah, it was kind of like, when you think about comic book stores, you tend to have a couple different categories. You have, like, the dude's basement, which is, like, just cluttered and just totally nasty, but has some of the, like, coolest stuff in there. But this was definitely a comic book store that was like Apple Store. Like, it looked nice. It was fun to go in. Hardwood floors, like, super clean. It's
very sophisticated. Is the way I would put it. It's very nice in there. I have been there a couple times.
Yeah, and it's down in this kind of I guess Main Street kind of area. It's called the Del Mar Loop, but it's very kind of trendy area. So it was a really cool comic book shop. I went there for free comic book day. I actually, when I graduated from college, I did a final project, and I interviewed one of the owners there. So that was, like, now I look back on that footage, and I'm like, man, like, this guy, you know, this is gone. Like, I'm really glad I have that footage where he talked about kind of his business and why he was there. Yeah. But, that was some somber news, I have to say, because that was by far my favorite place to go and get comics. So I'll have to find somewhere new, but...
Yeah, that sucks. I'll say if my comic book store closed down, I'd be pretty bummed. I mean, more and more people are going digital, kind of seems nowadays, just reading comics on tablets and stuff, but I still go to the store. I love to see what new, you know, toys and action figures and statues they get in every week, and I don't go every week, I guess. I go maybe just whenever something I want is in there, which is usually every other week. I go and pick up a couple of issues. So yeah, I would be really sad if my store broke down. I would not want to go find another store.
Yeah, so I figured I'd get the bad news out of the way first. But I wish them the best of luck on whatever they want to do, or wherever they're heading from this point forward, because I know a lot of people really love Star Clipper, so you will be missed.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't have any heartbreaking news on a related front, I don't think.
That's okay. Let's make it simple. What have you been playing this week? What have we been playing?
Well, I mean, like you said, we've been working on this a lot. Basically, you come home from work and you work on it. And I have a little more time, because you're managing all the website design and that kind of stuff. So you have a little more bit on your plate because I'm dumb and I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
You're not dumb. You
So
just have
I
different skills.
exactly. So I have slightly more time, but not a whole lot. So I've been playing Dragon Age. I played that a lot earlier this week before we got the ball rolling on the podcast. And so yeah, I've been playing a lot of Inquisition. I'm about 60 hours in now, and
Wow.
it's getting better. It's got a lot of Game of the Year awards, and I see the potential there, and I think it's a fun game, and I love the Dragon Age series. Still a lot of filler, still a lot of just pointless side missions that I, for some reason, do, but shouldn't because they're kind of goofy and don't really matter. I've managed to do a lot of the companion quests, where you get to learn a lot more about your companion characters and their histories. And see, that's really great, and that's what makes that game. My only problem is those missions are like 5 minutes long. They're not they're not very in depth. I feel, and they could be a lot more, or there could be multiple ones. But most people just have like one mission. You go to, you kill like a room or two of guys. You talk to someone at the end, and then basically that's it. Then you talk to your companion back in Skyhold, which is like your home base, and you deal with the aftermath a little bit, and then that's it. And it's easy as pie. And you're like, okay, that was that. I mean, you could probably do all, if you had all of them unlocked, you could do them all like 10 or whatever, how many there are, about that number. You could do them all in under an hour, no problem.
Wow.
And so while they're really cool, like, why is there not more of this? Why is there not more of this, like, good stuff? Instead, it's all this filler stuff.
Yeah, I feel like once we both finish that game, we need to definitely sit down and have a roundtable, because it's we can't fully pass judgment until the end of the game.
I hear the ending is a doozy. I hear the ending is really strong. I still have, I think, 3 or 4 story missions to do. Because I've been doing all the side stuff because I'm a goober. So yeah, I can't pass full judgment on it yet, and maybe the end will change my mind. The end can make or break a game, as we have seen with Mass Effect 3. So I'm waiting. I am enjoying my time there, but I do still have some not concerns, but I guess criticisms that I would put against it, which I think would, for me right now, would prevent me from giving it Game of the Year. I mean, we talked about some of this in our Game of the Year, or favorite games podcast earlier, and we kind of mentioned some of the same stuff. But it's grown on me since then, but it's still not to that point where I think it is, like, clearly the best game that came out this year. I don't necessarily think that's true, but
yeah, for as far as BioWare is concerned, everyone rants and raves about how amazing Mass Effect 2 was, but the thing for me in Mass Effect 2, and you're talking about endings, I want to bring this up. Throughout when I was playing that game, I remember you had told me, you were like, make sure to do all the follower missions. And I didn't know why, because you were trying to spare me the spoiler.
I was trying to save you.
Yes. So, well, and here's what happened. Like, I did all the follower missions, and I got to the end of the game, and then all of a sudden, I'm making these, like, gigantic decisions that were just like, they're literally killing my party off. Like, I was making wrong decisions and was killing my party off unintentionally. And then shortly after that, I realized what I was doing. I was like, oh my God, these decisions, these decisions hinder on me, like what I've learned about my team through this. And I just had this moment of like, oh my God, I'm in an episode of Star Trek. I am Captain Kirk. I have to know what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are, and we got to get out of this.
Yeah, and we haven't. So it wasn't just like an arbitrary, like, okay, you do this and you do that, and I pick which one of you lives and which one of you dies. Like, according to your relationship with them and like what task you have assigned them. And like you said, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, you assign them tasks, and like that increases their chance of survival. And that, we haven't seen anything like that. Still,
yeah, I mean,
I would love.
I don't
for
know
Dragon
why
Age
that
to
didn't
have
get
something
stolen
like that.
as a game idea. That's almost as like astonishing as the Nemesis system. Like, if you think about it, because Telltale has basically made a living off of making these games that give you choice, but at the end of the day, it's the choices are sometimes leave you like, oh well, if I would have decided the other thing, the only thing that would have been different is I would have a different character model in the place of this person.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
always like, it doesn't drastically change the narrative.
yeah, but it's like at the end of Mass Effect 2, first off, if you didn't do those follower missions, you're just
Everyone would die, basically.
yeah, everyone's dead and you just failed your team. But you're in that moment and you're just making these like spur of the moment decisions. You feel like the captain. You feel like the person in charge, and up till now everyone's listened to you, but now it's time for you to earn your leadership role. So I don't know if Dragon Age Inquisition is going to end on that. They've definitely pinned the leader badge on you.
I don't think so.
But I would encourage BioWare to re-explore that feeling, because each game you're a leader of something. And I don't think anything encapsulates being a leader more than getting to know your team and then making decisions that will literally leave your team's lives in your hand based on what you know about them. That's leadership, the video game.
Yeah, no, that's definitely cool. I'd like to see more of that as well. Now, here's something besides Dragon Age. Like I said, you've been pretty busy. You haven't played a whole lot. But one thing we did manage to sneak in the other day is Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
We've been in it's Blizzard's MOBA. If you don't know what that is, multiplayer online battle arena, similar kind of to League of Legends and Dota, except Heroes of the Storm is a little more streamlined, a little more like jump-in friendly. It's not quite as complicated, but there's still plenty of depth there. Lots of different Blizzard characters to choose from, and you all battle it out in lanes and have to destroy the opponent's base. So we really like this game. We've been in it since the technical alpha, which I don't remember when that started, way back earlier last year.
Oh man, yeah,
it was a while. So we've been in it since then.
Beta.
And it just entered closed beta. So they added a new map, they added a new hero in the form of
Broken Hero.
Yes, a very OP hero in the form of Thrall. So we did manage to sneak in a couple games of that the other day. And like I said, we played this a lot. Seth is the max level, or he was the max level. They might have raised it. In the tech alpha, he hit level 40, which is the maximum.
Oh, yeah.
For reference, I'm only level 27 now. So he's way ahead of me. So we've played a lot. What did you think about the new map? I can't remember what it's called. It's called like it's like an Egypt-themed map. It's like something Sky Temple or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think the Sky Temple is correct.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that's really unique about Heroes is the maps have just about as much personality as the heroes do. Unlike Dota or League of Legends, which primarily have one map. I know that League has a couple different maps for different game modes, but primarily the core game is played on one map. The Heroes totally throws that out the window. I think that would have been the fifth map. Is that correct? I believe so.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think that is the fifth map.
Yeah. So as that's the fifth map, and each map varies in size, and they usually have like a core objective. Either kill minions to get a super big boss, or kill minions to summon a player controllable Goliath. So this new one
it might be the sixth map. I was counting in my head. I think it might be the sixth one.
Okay, yeah. So, specifically, if you're trying to pitch this map has, 3 control points at top, bottom, and middle. And the unique thing about it is that these control points activate randomly. So sometimes it'll just be one.
It's not random. It's not random. It's actually...
is it not?
No, it follows a pattern. It's,
Oh.
Yeah, it's, we played like 3 times. And it was the same every time.
I thought it was random.
It was the top and the middle one first, then just the bottom temple, and then it opens. I can't remember what the next phase is, and then there's like one more after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so they open in a set way every time.
Yeah, so basically what you do is when these control points open, you have to occupy them, but while you occupy them, it summons minions to attack you, like neutral minions that will attack you. and then while you occupy it, you basically shoot lasers at the other person's base. So
yeah, you
that's
wanna
cool.
you wanna hold on to those temples, and if you can get multiple ones, you want to do that because you're gonna completely, decimate the opponent's defenses.
Everybody loves more lasers.
Now, so we played that map a couple times. It's interesting. I don't know. It's pretty chaotic.
Hectic.
Now, every map in Heroes is pretty chaotic because this is a bigger map. But unlike League, where you want to like farm minions for a while before you start roaming around and stuff like that, this game is basically just team fight the game. Because you share XP, so you're in each lane. You want to have someone in each lane just to soak up XP, so you can further your team's level, and that makes you stronger than the other team. But very quickly people just group into big groups and will start roaming around, and just it's not surprising to have like 5-man ganks on like another lane. Just 2 minutes into the match. And all the team fights are focused around these different objectives. So on Sky Temple, it's these temples that you need to capture. So just these massive team fights happen. And Thrall, which we mentioned, was really strong. He came out this week. I don't think he's completely broken, but he is probably the most powerful hero that they've come out with so far. I think
he is pretty strong.
He is so far the game. I don't know how well the game is balanced. Any kind of these games, whether it's a fighting game or a MOBA, and you have like a very large roster of people with different abilities, it's not going to be perfectly balanced. There's going to be people who are stronger than others.
Well, the rules are pretty simple. Tychus is the best,
and
good. Everyone else is chumps.
But, not Thrall. Thrall is no chump, because Thrall has basically anything you would want. He's an assassin, so he's a high damage dealer. He has really good ranged attacks, but also is like pretty strong up close. He has good CC, so he has stuns. He has some abilities that can, mess up the other enemy team, interrupt them, move them around. And then he also he's deadly, man. He does a ton of damage. He just has the whole package. And every match we played, he was in. Even though he cost, I think, like 15,000 coins, which in Heroes of the Storm world is a lot. He was in every game we played that night. Now, I guess people could have shelled out real money for him. It is a free-to-play game, so you can buy all the heroes with real cash if you want to. But man, I think they found their first OP person. I would expect a nerf coming for him, because he seems really powerful compared to some of the past releases.
Yeah, and we realize that not everybody's getting to enjoy this game because it is still a closed beta. But I hope that they open it up soon and let people enjoy it.
Yeah, they're sending out more and more invites. I think if you're interested, you can go to Battle.net if you have a Battle.net account, and you can just opt into the beta, and you might not get one immediately, but I would say, probably soon, sometime, you would get an email and it'd invite you, and you can download the game. So definitely do that.
I would say that of the flood of MOBAs we've seen over the past year or so, this is probably one of the only ones I would expect to rise even close to League of Legends or Dota 2's level. So, but it's very unique. I would say, if League of Legends and Dota are Counter-Strike, then this is the Halo. This is the more arena-based. It's tactical, but more from a team perspective, not from an individual perspective, and very much is about map control and getting those objectives. That is exactly...
it's all about the objectives. And like you said, not necessarily. Individual skill plays a part, but one character on your team is not gonna carry your team to victory by himself. Like, even if you're...
Unless they're Nova.
Nova can definitely be a tide turret. So that's interesting. We played some of that. Might play some more of that probably this weekend, actually. We're always playing that. That's our League of Legends substitute at the moment.
Yes.
So
we talked about our jaded past with League, so if you want to hear more about that, go listen to our first podcast, the favorite games of 2014. Oh no, that was the New Year's resolution. Sorry. Go listen to episode 1 of our New Year's resolutions for 2015. You'll hear all about that. So,
Indeed.
I have something here.
Okay. What is it?
Is jumping back to comics.
Oh, good.
So, big news this week. Star Wars issue 1 came out from Marvel. Huge deal. This is the Marvel officially took control of that license from Dark Horse and released the first of the revamped series. And apparently the first issue is gone. Like, it's evaporated, completely disappeared. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. I think you tried to find it.
I looked at 3 different stores in my town, and I couldn't find it. Now, I don't have I didn't reserve a copy. I didn't think I needed to, and I don't have, like, a pull box like a lot of people, comic regulars do. So, yeah, I couldn't snag one. They said they were, going to be sending out millions of copies, and one of the most printed comics in history, and I assumed that meant I would be able to go pick one up on the day it came out. Apparently, I was wrong.
Well, my friend, I have some extraordinary news for you.
I don't know what's happening.
So, there's this service. We're not actually sponsored by them, and we don't sponsor them, but the service called Loot Crate. And today, just a little while ago, they told one of the exclusive items is going to be this month, which this month's theme, I believe, for their crate. Basically, if you don't know what Loot Crate is, it's you pay about $20 a month. They send you a subscription box filled with kind of surprise nerd goodies, and each box has a theme. So this month's theme is Rewind, so they're kind of kicking back to like early 90s, like, Voltron, Star Wars and stuff. But they revealed one of the exclusive items this month is going to be a variant cover exclusive to Loot Crate of Star Wars issue
cool.
1 that features Han Solo and Chewbacca literally like getting shot at as they board the Millennium Falcon with smuggled cargo.
That's cool.
It is the coolest looking thing, and I was just like, wow, that right there, just that is worth the $20 subscription fee because it's so cool looking and it's a variant cover that you can't get anywhere else. But on top of that, there's going to come with more stuff. So I know I've subscribed to that for about a year. I know you don't really subscribe to it because they send you a lot of stuff. I mean, you get like 8 or 9 things each month, so it tends to junk up your place if you.
I don't think I need any more stuff, though. I would definitely take that Star Wars comic.
Yeah, I mean, well, you might consider I think 1 month you can buy for about $20. So if it's worth it to you, if it's worth it to anyone out there. You can find coupon codes all over the place. I think every streamer known to man has a sponsorship deal with them where you type in my name and you get 10% off. But I mean, just go to lootcrate.com. They'll have coupons and stuff there. But it's definitely a cool little doodad, and that's what I'll be doing because I can't find that issue anywhere either. And I think this cover looks cooler anyways. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm curious to read it. I've heard it's pretty good. It's a pretty solid start. Now, I mean, Marvel's playing it pretty safe with their Star Wars comics out of the gate. They're just kind of going to the original trilogy, with Han, Luke, and Leia. Whereas Dark Horse had comics set all over the Star Wars universe, like way in the future, way in the Old Republic, all different kind of time periods. I think we'll see that eventually, but right now they're trying to play it safe and just kind of get those big sales numbers, which I think they definitely did with everyone buying a copy. So,
well, speaking of playing it safe,
what are you doing?
The Xbox One, its price has gone back down to $350 because they knew that was a dumb idea in the first place.
That was
go
pretty
back
dumb.
up to $400. So I think
when did they announce that? Did they announce that?
They announced that today. It kicks in tomorrow, so January the 16th.
Well, I feel sorry for all you poor bastards who decided to buy an Xbox One in between. Well, I don't know. When did it? Wasn't it supposed to stop being? No, it stopped. It went back up to 400. I think a week or two ago.
Yes.
So it's only been a couple weeks. But if you were the poor bastard who decided you were going to buy your Xbox in this 2-week span, I'm sorry, you should probably ask Microsoft for your $50 back.
Yeah, well, you should still be in your return policy for most places, but I also just realized that, no secret, but podcasts are usually recorded a day in advance, so probably by the time you're listening to this, it will probably already be back on sale, because this will go live on Friday, and that's when the sale kicks in.
True that. Yeah, I mean that's good news. It was really weird when they, because like you brought this up in a separate conversation we had, where it was the sale was a really cool idea, but for them to bump the price back up doesn't make any sense. Because like, what happens at E3 when they announce a price drop and it goes back to 350? People are
Yeah.
like, "What? It was already 350. Like this is nothing. This is not a big deal at all. You know, I already bought mine for 350." So I think that's a smart move for them to keep it at 350. And now, maybe they don't have to announce a price drop at E3. Maybe they'll just keep it at 350 for a while. And I think that sold. That was a really good selling point for them. Like I mentioned before, I actually worked part time at GameStop. The holiday season, I almost worked full time. We were so busy. Um, Xbox Ones were flying off the shelves. I mean, PS4 is always selling pretty well. Xbox One had been a lot slower. Xbox One flying off the shelves. I mean, their strategy worked. Definitely worked. So I'm glad to see them coming to their senses and restoring that price point.
Yeah, I believe that Microsoft should just kind of grit their teeth, go for the next 5 months at that lower rate. That way, when E3 comes around, if their competition decides that they want to do a price drop to match, you can, as long as you have cool stuff to show at E3, which I don't think that's going to be an issue this year, but you can kind of play it off as like, oh man, dude, you're late to the party. We've been here for 7 months. So, like, if you want to have some swagger about it, you could. But the idea of it going back up it didn't sound attractive in the first place.
Yeah,
When
it just
it did,
doesn't make sense.
it just kind of tasted. It had a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But now they've double backed on it, so I guess they made the good decision. Whether or not this is permanent, we'll see. But if you want an Xbox One, if you want a next gen console, I mean, go for it, get it.
Yeah, I was telling people, if you've been waiting to upgrade, this is the time. This is definitely the time. With this price drop, you get 2 Assassin's Creed games. Sure, maybe Unity isn't that great, but I personally think Black Flag is fantastic and the best Assassin's Creed game that's come out yet. So, I was pushing that when people were coming to buy Xbox Ones. They're like, "Oh, I don't really like Assassin's Creed." I'm like, "Well, that's really the only one we have in stock. Actually, it's basically the one that you can't buy regular Xboxes anymore. Just about, it's all those Assassin's Creed bundles."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they're doing that. Now, the other big news this week was the Nintendo Direct. Which,
Oh
if
yeah.
you haven't listened to our Nintendo Direct podcast, definitely give that a look. It's a really good.
Do it now.
Yeah, it's a really good discussion. I mean, it's a little long, about 50 minutes, but that was a lot of fun to talk about. Lots of big news came that way. I just wanted to point out one specific thing because we got more details about it today. Was we mentioned the lack of the AC adapter in the new Nintendo 3DS that they're going to be selling in February. Nintendo is not shipping or equipping these new systems with AC adapters, saying people who don't have an AC adapter for the DSi or the regular 3DS, you can just buy one. They're like $15. They said they didn't include one to reduce cost for all the people who did have one. So they clarified on that a little bit. I don't know. Seth, does that make it more sense to you now? Apparently, they do this in Europe. It's been doing this in Europe, and I think Japan. They haven't included the adapters, but I don't know. It's still weird to me.
That was my initial hunch, was something to do with price. It's just such an essential thing. To leave it out would have to be either a very dumb, like 100% business minded person being like, we can increase our bottom line by 0.7%, by like that kind of dumb bullcrap. But when you think about it, like it's like a compliment, but it's also kind of a slap in the face to potential new customers. Because yeah, I'm sorry, but
Well, they have to spend another $15 to buy
that adapter
an
does not
adapter.
cost $15 to make. I understand there's packaging and shipping, but when you include it in the box, it probably costs Nintendo like $2 to $5 tops. But now you're saying, oh well, you can go buy a $15 one if at retail price if you don't want to. And unfortunately, power adapters are one of those few items that I would always 100% of the time say you want to buy it from the company that
exactly, and that's what
makes the
that's
device.
that $15 price point. That's the official Nintendo one.
Yeah, because anything else, like power especially, like you don't want it to blow up in your hands, and you run the risk of that anytime you're using third-party stuff or related to power. So that's, it's cool. Yeah, Nintendo fans, we're looking out for you. We're going to save you some money.
We already know you have three 3DSs, so we're not going to include the adapter.
Yeah, I mean, in my defense, I have 2 of those adapters, so it's not like it's affecting me personally. I just feel bad for someone who doesn't want a 2DS because they want the bigger screen, but now they're in this spot of like, well, I either have to buy the device and this power adapter, or
I mean,
it's just,
I have to break the news to people coming to buy them at GameStop. Like just the other day, actually, we had this really enthusiastic kid. He had saved up for months. He was buying an XL.
Man.
He was buying an XL, and it was earlier this week when it was Wednesday when they announced the new one. And I said, I was telling him about, they just announced this brand new one. It's the same price. You'll be able to buy this one. It's gonna be better. It's gonna use the amiibos. And he was like, no. Like he'd been waiting forever. He desperately wanted the XL like right now. So he ended up getting that one. But guess what? If he had to spend another $15 on an adapter, he would not have had enough money. I would have to tell him, this does not come with an adapter. You won't be able to buy it. You have to spend another $15. Come back when you made 20 more bucks. Man. And that's just stupid. It's just dumb. That's like a total buzzkill. It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
So that's what's me. And knowing Nintendo, I don't even think we'll have like the adapters in stock. I could be wrong. But I don't think that we're GameStop or any other really retailer, unless maybe like some really niche place, is gonna have those readily available. You'll have to buy them probably from Nintendo. Wait for them to come in the mail. It's just inconvenient. It's just inconvenient for anyone who is looking to get into it. And I don't think that's a good idea. But whatever. I mean, Nintendo's gonna Nintendo.
If you want to learn more about our feelings on Nintendo, feel free to check out our podcast titled Nintendo.
I already told him that, Seth.
Bringing in 2015. Hey, you can't do too many plugs.
I already told him that.
More plugs.
But definitely listen to it. We talk about a lot more stuff there. Fire Emblem, Codename Steam, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, definitely check it out.
One more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
And we're probably going to talk about this more this week, but I am 100% and totally ecstatic about Microsoft's Windows 10 press event this week. Now, here's a little bit of background. I'm a kind of a techie. I like technology. I used to be a really, really, really big Apple fanboy. I even worked at an Apple retail store for a good chunk of time. And so I was drinking the Apple Kool-Aid. Since then I've kind of opened my mind, and I try to experience a little bit of everything. But by far, over the past year, one of the most interesting companies in technology has been Microsoft, simply because they were kind of this, like, if you think about it, like Windows has always had a bad rep for, like, they try and do something different and everyone hates it. Up in their face. So Windows they just 8. Convert back. Yeah, it's like they just convert back to what it basically a reskinned Windows XP, and they've been doing that for almost 10 years. Then all of a sudden they have their new CEO take over, and one of my favorite people in gaming, Phil Spencer, takes over the Xbox, and you can see the passion for that company and those two individuals just overflowing. And so I know Phil Spencer is going to be talking at this event, which the thought of Windows and Major Nelson, Larry Herb. If you follow any Xbox stuff, you've probably heard that name before. He's a very vocal individual that works for Microsoft, kind of represents a lot of their communication toward the fans. But he said something in one of his podcasts later last year, and he said that someone came to him and they had been asked if you're going to buy a game on Xbox One, and they said, no, I want to get it on PC. And he was like, okay, that's cool. You're going to get it on the other Windows platform. And like that, I stopped for a moment and I said, you know what? If they could truly tap it, and I'm not talking games for Windows Live, that's not what I'm talking about, but if they could truly tap into like a I don't want to use the word cross-platform because that implies a lot of, technical things
You mean
that may
like
not even.
cross-buy or something?
Yeah, like cross-buy. Like if I could play, because ever since I jumped on consoles, like I grew up on PC. Half-Life and Diablo 2 were the games that got me into games. I remember playing on consoles, but PC was kind of my early life. So when I came over to playing consoles, when the Xbox came around, and the PlayStation 2 came around, that's when I kind of jumped on board. I had a hard time adjusting to control sticks, and I still, to this day, when I'm playing
He still
shooters,
whines about it.
I still whine about it.
Oh my gosh, I don't have the precision of the mouse.
Well,
That was an exaggeration.
But I've always struggled with that. But do I think that the fix is just like letting me play Titanfall on PC and and Xbox and like play with each other? I don't know if that's necessarily it. But the idea has always kind of excited me. You can tell early on that when Windows came out with the App Store, it was in the news media. Gabe Newell, CEO of Valve, was very vocal about being like, the App Store is bad. Do not go for it. Steam is the best. And because he's a smart man, he saw the potential. He said, oh man, right now Steam still has the square on the games market. Like no one can dislodge them. Sorry EA, but Origin's just it's a like a peon.
It's okay, but yeah.
Think about the only way that you could really dislodge that lead at this point would be if they came out and they said, "Hey everyone, you want to buy Halo 5 on the Xbox One? You can also play it on the PC. One purchase, both games. Cloud saves, carry them over." Like now that's a lot of theoreticals there, but if they pull that off, people will start to look at the Windows App Store as more than just like.
Oh, I mean that'd be amazing if they make it so you can buy stuff on either one and have it for like PC or Xbox. That'd be great.
Yeah, so we'll have. I'm sure we'll have a full podcast to talk about everything that goes on there. But I wanted to just go ahead and kind of say now, like, I'm very excited for that. Microsoft as a company has been doing some really cool things, both in the gaming division and then also in the computer division. You can tell that they're a company that they don't want to become a Nokia. They don't want to become a company that just, we're not going to change because we're the best. And then 10 years from now, no one even remembers them. So they're actively trying to change that. And I'm excited to see I saw an article today that said this is your last chance, Microsoft. Prove your wealth because now iOS and Android are there on the mobile front. Macs moved up big, Chromebooks have moved up big. So there's more than just Windows now. People are looking to them, and they, regardless of if you love them or not, they're a juggernaut in the industry, and that means the industry moves with them. So hopefully they'll be there. Announcing some cool stuff. Their announcement is this Wednesday, so I'm sure we will have a podcast, if not that day, the day after, discussing everything. So make sure to keep it tuned to fanboyexplosion.com, and you can catch that. So
yeah, I mean, if we are fanboys for anything, we're fanboys for Xbox. Now, fanboy is kind of a loaded term. Generally, it's a really bad term. We're pretty open-minded. We do love all platforms and all kinds of games. Just Xbox has been our home base for the past couple years, and we're very critical of them. Critical.
We love them, but we're very critical.
And I know they've impressed both of us since the Xbox One launch with all these monthly updates and things, really improving almost every facet of the Xbox One experience, especially for people who don't have Kinect, which I don't. You have a Kinect, Seth, and I don't. But yeah, so like it was just it was a mess when it came out. I mean, in every aspect. Like, the launch was bad, the interface was bad, not really any impressive games. A year later...
Harsh truths.
I mean, a year later, completely different. Interface is much better, especially for people who don't have Kinect. There's some awesome games out there. I mean, and they're doing these monthly updates, improving the experience, adding more customization options, all kinds of things every month. So we're happy with it. I'm happy. I'm really happy with my purchase. I look forward to see what they're going to do. I mean, definitely we'll be paying close attention to that conference and seeing what's in store for gaming on Windows.
It's going to be good.
I hope so. We know Windows Live was the opposite of good. or games for Windows
Yeah.
Live was the opposite of good.
Well, this is an entirely new team, so we'll see what they've got. You know, Nintendo was the spotlight this week. Microsoft will be the spotlight next week, hopefully. Let's see what you got. I mean, I'm all ears, Microsoft. Let's go. Let's see what you got.
So, what are you planning on doing this weekend?
So I'm gonna actually have some family visiting me this weekend, so I will probably be fairly absent from the game world. But if I can squeeze in some time, Heroes sounds fun. I want to try that map some more.
We should probably play Heroes actually right after this, I think.
Yeah, we'll
think
play
that's
some
what we
Heroes
should
right
do.
after this. That'll be a good plan. And you're way ahead of me in Dragon Age at this point. I fell into the bottomless pit that is being a perfectionist in the hinterlands. Do not do that. Leave as soon as you can. Play the rest of the game. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Okay, wait. This is going back to another conversation we had. Witcher 2 is free on Xbox 360 for people who have games with gold. Who have Xbox
I haven't played
Live.
Witcher 2. I need to play Witcher 2 because Witcher 3 looks cool to me. I played Witcher 1, and apparently a lot of people got caught at the same spot that I did, but that starting zone is so long that it just turned a lot of people off. It turned me off as well.
I've played Witcher 1 and 2. 2 is definitely worth your time. 1, if you really enjoy 2, I think you'll still enjoy aspects of 1, like the storyline. Gameplay isn't as great in 1. But yeah, you need to play 2, man. You need to play. I've been telling you this forever, I think.
I know. And it's free, so there's no excuse anymore for me not to be playing it.
And it plays great on Xbox. It came out originally on PC, and it came out Xbox later, but Witcher 2 is probably one of the best looking Xbox 360 games. Like, to me. I mean, and it plays very well. And, I mean, Witcher 3 is coming out. I mean, you don't need to play Witcher 2 to play Witcher 3, I think, but...
Well, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I feel bad missing that experience because I haven't really played any RPG, like fantasy RPGs. Like Dragon Age was the first one in a long time.
Well, since like Skyrim, right?
Yeah,
Just
it would have been
about.
since Skyrim. Now, I was deep dive in Skyrim. I mean, I bought Skyrim on Xbox 360 twice because I found the Legendary Edition, so I bought it again and traded in my regular copy. And then I bought it on PC during a Steam sale and got all the DLC. Like, I loved Skyrim. And that's what intrigued me with Dragon Age. I was like, I know it's not going to be like Skyrim exactly, but Skyrim was so much fun. I wanted
exploration
to try.
and...
Yes. So that was fun. In Dragon Age, I'm having fun with. It's not quite open world, quite like Skyrim is. Not so much in like exploration as far as like you may find, like in Skyrim, you find a hole in the ground and then it turns out to be a 3-story dungeon.
Yeah, not so much in Dragon Age.
Yeah, kind of in Dragon Age, like you know what to expect when you enter an area. You can look at the map and see the icons. You can see where the dungeons are, and some dungeons are just like 1 or 2 rooms, a couple of baddies. But not taking away from that game. I mean, that game is the story and the environment and the visuals are just absolutely phenomenal. So play it if you haven't. But I'm anxious to play Witcher 2.
I think you should finish Inquisition, and then immediately go to Witcher 2 and power play that, and then compare. I want you to compare the two and see which one you prefer.
That'll be interesting, and we can actually do a podcast about that. So look for that. Probably very far in the future
because it will take Seth 1,000 years to play Dragon Age.
But I would love to have that conversation. There's a lot of things as far as gaming's concerned. So this is something I mentioned earlier. I came from PC. Like the first game console I ever owned was my first PC that I got. And I remember Half-Life was the game that got me into gaming. I played Diablo 2 with one of my childhood friends a lot. And those were while a lot of people were playing, and no, don't get me wrong, I played Mario, I played Zelda, I did get an N64 a little after they came out. I remember playing Ocarina of Time, but I always kind of came back. I play Half-Life.
He plays it every year.
Kind of been slipping. I play Half-Life every year. I beat Half-Life and/or Half-Life 2 every year, just out of homage and just to go back and remind myself
that Half-Life 3 will maybe come out one day.
It will maybe come out one day. I'll be able to gather around the fire with my grandkids and we'll play it together.
I remember the day, come here children, I remember the day when they announced Half-Life 3. Do you know what that is?
take your Oculus Rifts off for a second.
And let me tell you the story about Gabe Newell and
Shut
the
up, Grandpa.
Half-Life 3 gospel.
Yeah, so nonetheless, I am excited to play Witcher 2 and 3. It'll be interesting to compare that with Dragon Age and see which one comes out on top. So that's basically what's been going on with me this week. I'll have some family coming in, so I'm not going to play a whole lot. But I have to say, after Nintendo's press conference, I have brushed off my 3DS, and I'm ready for a 3DS game. So I may go to GameStop.
Well, I mean, you got less than a month till
that's
Majora's
true.
Mask comes out.
I got Majora's Mask coming out.
And then Codename Steam also after that, which I don't know if you're going to get, but I'm definitely getting.
Like, after our discussion about it, I thought about it some more, and I was like, you know what? It's XCOM. Again, I didn't beat it, just because we talked about this in my New Year's resolution. I'm bad at beating games, but it was fun. Like, the bit that I played was fun, and I should go back and beat it. But if Codename Steam can bring that experience, but with a little bit more, like the fun,
a little bit more flair. Abraham Lincoln,
who is one of the most Americans to ever America, then hell yeah, I will take it, and it's in my pocket, so I can go anywhere I want to with it.
Yeah, and we can talk about it. We can even play multiplayer. Maybe I think it has multiplayer.
I'm down with that. All right, well, did you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that about covers it. I'm probably just going to spend most of this weekend. I don't have a whole lot going on, so I'll probably try and finish out Dragon Age. I'm probably setting myself up for failure.
One does not simply finish
Dragon
Age in a weekend.
I'm still trying to do all the side quests. I want to kill all the high dragons. I've killed, I think, like three or four right now.
Remember in the New Year's resolution chat when you said you were not going to obsess over the side content?
2 weeks in, I'm completely breaking that. That new resolution is done. I'm gonna do just about everything in this game, and then I'm gonna put it on my shelf. And whereas I do like Dragon Age Origins, I replayed I think about 2 or 3 times. And the interesting thing about Origins was that every race had a couple different origin stories that you could play, where like the first hour or so of the game would be different and would affect some of the stuff later in the game according to your origin story. I did all of those, so I think that's at least like another 6 or 7 hours. So I played that game a lot, well over 100 hours through multiple playthroughs. But from what it looks like, this one game, Dragon Age Inquisition, one playthrough is going to take me probably upwards of 80. And that's kind of scary. So I probably won't be playing it again. I imagine. I'm interested in seeing the different choices and things, but when a game's that long... Now, if I skip all the side quests and stuff, maybe you could bring it down to like 40 or 50 hours, but still, that seems like a lot of time, and I just don't have enough time to play it to do that all over again. So... I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm gonna try and get through a lot of it this weekend and do a lot of the side missions and probably some of the main story. We'll see how close I get. So yeah, that's all my plans are for the weekend.
Cool.
But
well, yeah, we'll get back to gaming next week. Gaming together. You'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, and we'll be doing this podcast. Our plans are to have this go up every Friday. And it's just, like I said, it's just going to be kind of a recap of the week. We're just going to talk about what's going on with each of us, and it's just going to be a pretty laid-back thing. So definitely...
it's called The Patch Notes.
Patch Notes.
Every Friday.
Yep. So be sure to check it out, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, whoa. Wait up a second.
Oh, never mind.
We got plugs, baby.
Oh,
we got
I forgot.
plugs for
I'm
days.
sorry. Never mind.
We got plugs
Never
for
mind.
days.
Come back.
Don't stop listening.
Come back.
We're still here.
We got to listen to the Twitter, the Facebooks.
Well, we thanked everyone for listening to the first episode of the Patch Notes. Thank you for doing that. If you want to keep up with everything about Fanboy Explosion, make sure to go to fanboyexplosion.com. Everything gets up there first. We also post to YouTube, and we do have a podcast on iTunes, so please subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, @FanboyExplosion. That you'll hear about everything first there as well. You can follow my personal Twitter, @DarthTurner.
And you can follow me @COKGamer.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.